This is News OSU for February 15th. I'm Channing Nesmith. Stillwater saw 4 to 6 inches of snow. OSU expected to cancel classes February 2nd and February 3rd, but college students got to enjoy a 5-day weekend. With no classes to attend, students gathered at Library Lawn for a snowball fight. This snowball fight was planned through social media for all students to meet for a snow brawl. Hundreds of students participated in the snowball fight with winter gear they had. Outside of the snowball fight, students were seen around campus enjoying the snow with makeshift sleds. However, a winter wonderland comes with an added workload for some. Dallas Haggerty explored OSU facility management's long list of tasks to complete once the Oklahoma State University campus turns white.
Right when you receive a winter weather alert, you may think everyone simply packs up their bags and heads home for an extended winter break. However, when winter weather strikes Stillwater and the Oklahoma State University campus, OSU Facility Management's day officially begins.
We've got night crews working around the clock, taking care of all the streets and any emergency exits, entrances and exits, ADA accessible parking, ramps, we address as priorities. So our typical day could start as early as 2 a.m., 4 a.m. We got crews that report really all around the clock to take care of snow and ice.
Working together while balancing a 12-hour shift in the winter elements is all tied together through a snow and ice plan. The routes typically begin in the Student Union parking lot. Along with the routes comes the need for salt to dissolve sheets of ice throughout the campus streets. This is where various machines from snow plows to de-icing equipment holding 2.3 pounds of salt per 1,000 square feet are sent out to make the outside conditions an overall safer place.
Going along with our snow and ice plan, we start out with the major entryways into campus, which would be Hall of Fame, all the way from Duck to 6th Street.
High priority routes are of utmost importance for the team. These routes typically revolve around OSU event schedules. OSU Facility Management works countless hours to keep the cowboy culture alive.
We follow event schedules really close, so any campus event that hasn't been canceled or postponed, we make sure and address those events and have the areas safe there too.
Oklahoma State University Facility Management works around the clock to keep everyone on the OSU campus safe. From clearing streets such as this one to clearing buildings, Oklahoma State Facility Management has you covered. Stay warm out there, folks. For News OSU, I'm Dallas Haggerty.
We saw 5 inches of snow over 2 days. Classes were closed for 3 days, businesses were closed, and streets were slick. Oklahoma's weather can be unpredictable. Being prepared can keep you safe. Between the freezing temperatures and the inches of snow from last week's snowstorm, I found out everything you need to know on how to stay safe on the roads. According to Oklahoma Highway Safety, 61,739 car accidents happened in 2020. 15% of the total car accidents happened due to weather. Rob Hill is the emergency manager for the city of Stillwater, and this is how he prepares the city to clear the roads.
I'll send out an email to all the department heads and then talk about what their current concerns are, what their needs are, what their strengths are, and what they need from us to ensure that everything will be as prepared as possible.
Hill says that he watches the county surrounding Stillwater to better prepare for the weather. When the snow gets closer, Hill recommends drivers to increase the following distance from the vehicle in front of them and reduce their overall speed.
We want them to start braking a lot earlier when they know that they're going to have to stop or if they're going to come to an intersection.
Hill says he encourages people to have patience when driving in these conditions and to stay home if you don't feel comfortable driving, although some people still have to work. Natalie Matson went to work at Stillwater Medical Center this morning.
I slid into the neighborhood. I couldn't get up my driveway. I slid down my driveway this morning, and you can't even tell where the curb ends and the road starts. So the roads are pretty tough.
Matson says when snow turns to ice, it can be hard to tell the difference. With worsening road conditions, some drivers experience an increase in emotions.
I'm nervous just because I'm kind of a bad driver. I definitely have to be extra careful.
Matson says she keeps her just-in-case pack that holds her blanket, headlamp, and ropes in case of an emergency.
There's lots of handy-dandy things in my car.
If you plan on traveling in the snow, the National Weather Service advises you to make an emergency kit for your car. This includes snow boots, a car charger, an ice scraper, and jumper cables. Now that you're all set, stay safe and stay warm. For News OSU, I'm Channing Nesmith. Not being able to drive on the road was definitely a big impact for those caught in the storm. But there was another drive affected also. Not only did winter weather cancel school and prevent driving, but it also canceled blood drives across the state. These cancellations put more lives at risk as the nation fights for a blood shortage. Katie Pelzel has the story.
The nation is in critical need of blood donations as it faces its worst shortage in a decade. The Red Cross has seen a 10% decline in overall donations and 62% decline in college and high school blood drives. Donations are vital to hospitals for many reasons, including treating trauma and cancer patients, as well as for organ transplants. Blood drives across the nation are being canceled due to weather, illness, and staff limitations.
Like with the most recent storm, we basically told people the truth, and that 70 to 80% of our mobile blood drives were canceled just because the turnout wasn't going to be good, and that's a huge deal for us.
The Red Cross has limited blood distributions to hospitals. Hospitals may not even get a quarter of the blood needed on certain days. This leaves hospitals in a dire situation that often leads to canceling treatments or puts someone's life at risk.
Being short doesn't just affect a single facility. It can affect, if there's an event, it could affect the surrounding facilities for the blood products.
The Oklahoma Blood Institute supplies virtually every drop of blood to Oklahoma hospitals. OBI has mobile blood drives across the state, including here on campus. There are different ways to donate blood, including whole blood donations, platelets, red blood cell units, and plasma.
We've certainly seen at high schools and certainly at the college level, our numbers are greater than just your routine mobile drive. So that the student population is key for us. It's a key provider.
Most OSU students know the activities that happen here on the Strip, but did you know you can also donate plasma here and get paid for it? But more importantly, any donation helps save a life. Katie Pelzel, News OSU.
COVID-19 cases had a significant drop from January. There are 125 current active cases, averaging about 7 cases a week, while a month ago the peak was at 952 cases. In other news, OSU police said there was an increase in sexual reports, with 4 reported sexual assaults in the month of January. In fact, January happens to be the month with the most sexual assault reports on campus each year since OSU PD has been keeping track. Jolie Salee found out more on how the university is raising awareness so more of these cases can be prevented.
University police and leaders say even one sexual assault is one too many. However, there have already been 4 sexual assault cases in the month of January. The annual rise in cases is something OSU PD is still trying to figure out.
I have indicative of January that carries the most offenses of each year since we've been recording it. So there is some correlation. We don't know yet what it is, but there's obviously a heightened population on campus.
OSU is taking steps to make a positive difference by striving to make an environment where students feel empowered to report an incident as soon as possible.
All of our officers are actually going through trauma-informed investigative techniques throughout the next month, so that they understand how to interview people with trauma. So we're preparing for it. We're hoping for a better result, and we're hoping that by having that approach, we can encourage people to come forward because they will feel more support.
There are resources available for victims and programs for students wanting to learn more about consent through online training. There are also student advocacy groups that host monthly educational programs about sexual violence, which can be accessed on the school's website. Despite the efforts and resources provided by OSU to help prevent sexual assault, the individual responsibility for students to help protect each other is just as important to make campus a safer place.
This isn't necessarily just one office's responsibility or one person's responsibility, but that this is something that our entire campus is responsible for, to make sure that we are understanding and practicing effective consent, that we're intervening in situations that potentially be harmful, and that we're supporting our peers and our friends who've experienced sexual violence.
Oklahoma State University is urging students to reach out to OSU PD if they or someone they know is a victim. For News OSU, I'm Jolie Salee.
Students who are looking for support can refer to One Is Too Many, located in 328 of the Student Union. There are over 300 million people invested in cryptocurrency. As James Parsons tells us, even with such a huge focus on the topic, a large variety of people may still not understand crypto and its purpose.
There are over 6,000 different types of cryptocurrency that are available to everybody. But with so many different options, it could leave your head spinning. People are still learning what kind of fungible assets they can acquire with these cryptocurrencies. They are new enough that those assets are changing every day. Zach Askins says how he doesn't fully understand why crypto is becoming such an important part of the world.
There's a lot of value and a lot of mystery hidden in cryptocurrency, but personally, I'm not invested in it right now. I come from an accounting and finance background, so I like to see the tangible value in things.
Cryptocurrencies like these are like a country's actual currency, except for they're not backed up by the government and they are all digital.
Through this process, I've learned there is more than what meets the eye when it comes to cryptocurrencies. Klein Moran, who has been in cryptocurrency game since almost the very beginning, shares some of his experience and investment strategies as a young crypto entrepreneur.
So there's different blockchains. A blockchain is a network under cryptocurrency as a whole. There's hundreds of blockchains probably. There's a small few that are very good and very cheap fees to move money around, and some of them are very expensive. But I mainly invest in the overall crypto blockchains, which would be networks.
Crypto makes it possible to transfer value online without the need of a middleman like a bank. Anyone can go online to the many different websites and buy any number of amount of cryptocurrencies they please. And who knows, the person that goes up and buys it might be rich in a few years. For News OSU, I'm James Parsons.
Sunday night, power outages were reported across the Oklahoma City metro. OG&E outage maps showed over 20,000 reported outages. There are no reasons for the power outage at this time, but the power has been restored. Before the power outage, an OKC apartment complex caught fire February 8th. The $65 million apartment complex was under construction and expected to open in the spring. The fire started on the roof and the first crew arrived at about 7 p.m. There were no injuries and the fire officials were removed from the building before it collapsed. The cause of the fire is still unknown and investigators will rely on security footage and digging through rubble to determine the fire.
The 2022 NFL season has come to a close with the Los Angeles Rams winning in their home stadium 23-20. The Rams had one of the best defenses in the league all season long, and Sunday's Super Bowl proved just that. After being stuffed on 3rd and 1, Bengals head coach Zach Taylor chose to roll the dice early, going for it on 4th and 1. Taylor's gamble proved to be costly as Burrow's throw was hurried and deflected by the Rams. Just 3 minutes later, Matthew Stafford would throw 17 yards to Odell Beckham Jr. to give the Rams the early 7-0 lead. However, the Bengals would answer with a field goal following this outstanding catch by Jamar Chase. Trailing 13-3 in the second quarter, Joe Mixon takes the pitch from Joe Burrow and completes to T. Higgins for the halfback pass touchdown, making it 13-10 heading into the halftime locker room. Burrow gives a play fake, scrambles, and finds T. Higgins for a 75-yard touchdown on the first play from scrimmage in the second half. Down 7 after this sack and down OBJ, the Rams hung around and Matthew Stafford threw this fade route to Super Bowl MVP Cooper Kupp for the eventual game-winning touchdown. Hooday's Nation has 1:20 left and they're getting the ball back down 3. It's 3rd down, and they are stuffed at the line, just like all night long. Aaron Donald makes the stop. Now 4th and 1, you need 10 yards to get a field goal. And Burrow is hurried again by Aaron Donald. Ball incomplete. Samaje Perine couldn't make the effort. Former Cowboy quarterback Zach Robinson is an assistant quarterbacks coach for the Rams and is now a Super Bowl champion coach. Staying on the gridiron, Oklahoma State now has its new defensive coordinator. Taking a $400,000 pay cut from his same position at Auburn is Derek Mason. The new Pokes defensive coordinator is the highest paid assistant coach in school history. Mason will have some big shoes to fill, inheriting a Fiesta Bowl champion defense that was one of the best in all of college football last season. Cowboy wrestling was back in action Saturday night for a duel with the number 2 ranked Iowa Hawkeyes. The Cowboys jumped out to an early 6-0 lead in this match with wins by Trevor Mastrogiovanni and Dayton Fix in the most highly anticipated weight class. However, Iowa would go on to win 6 of its last 8 matches for a convincing 23-9 victory. John Smith and company will have to go back to the drawing board, having lost 4 of their last 5 duels. Now to the hardwood, where the Cowboys dominated West Virginia Saturday. 3 Cowboys were in double figures for Oklahoma State's 81-58 victory. Musa Cisse led the way with an 18-point, 10-rebound performance. Avery Anderson had 18 and 7 rebounds, and Bryce Thompson even threw in 13 points himself. The Cowboys were out and running in transition. Musa Cisse talked about the Cowboys' big success in transition.
Stuff. So all we gotta do, we gotta keep pushing and keep finishing, really.
Y'all talked about 1K.
The Cowboys were back in action last night against the number 6 ranked Kansas Jayhawks, and this one wasn't much of a contest. The Jayhawks handled the Cowboys with ease, the Jayhawks winning 76-62. Mike Boynton's Cowboys will be back in action Saturday at 1 to face Kansas State. We'll be there and have you covered.
And that's all for News OSU. I'm Channing Nesmith. Stay safe, and we'll see you next week.